We almost went to we almost decided to go to Austin. My wife and I.
Yeah.
We about to go visit New Orleans. So I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, Austin's pretty fun. I got a friend that lives down there. Anyways, welcome to a special edition of Let's Ride with Chris Harris Jr. I am Patrick Chiotti. I'm one of your two hosts of the show. I am, of course, joined by Super Bowl 50 champion, all-pro cornerback, former Denver Bronco, Chris Harris Jr. And today's show has a very special guest in my heart and in all of Broncos country's heart. Former running back for the Denver Broncos, former second-round pick, running back Tatum Bell. Tatum, thank you for joining. This is momentous. I was telling you before the show, I used to play as the Broncos in Madden. I was tearing people up using you because you're one of the fastest backs in the game. How are you doing, man? It's so nice to meet you.
Man, nice to meet you too, man. Thank y'all for having me on the show. I see your clips on Twitter all the time, but appreciate you having me on, man. I'm doing well. My family's well. You know, I can't complain, man.
Good.
Great,
That's
man.
good to hear.
I'm glad to have you, bro. You know, being from Oklahoma, being from Tulsa, you know, you was definitely one of childhood heroes, man. Watching. I think, did you play with the Woods brothers too?
Yeah. I played with the oldest
playing with them.
Yeah,
man. Just Oklahoma State was nice back then. You know, that was kind of one of our teams. So, you know, when we don't have an NFL team in Oklahoma, so you know, Tatum and them was our NFL guys. You know, so man, it's definitely great to have you on the show.
Man, I appreciate it. I'm a big fan of you too. You know, when y'all went on your run, you know, that was the way Elway put that defense together, and you know, and then getting Manning, and everybody thought Manning won it, but no, it was that defense. It was just beautiful, man. It was just beautiful time. Them times, dang, it was some fun time. It's been rough since then, but man,
you're doing good. We're on a 3-game win streak right now. We're on a 3-game.
And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So I can't even complain. Right.
So Tatum, before we get into some of these questions that we have for you, I do want to ask you, because this is our first episode after the Bills game, and Javonte Williams had a huge game against the Bills. He has really been one of the catalysts of this offense during this 3-game win streak. Are you impressed by what you're seeing from Javonte, especially with him coming back from the knee injury last year?
I'm definitely impressed. I think he finally starting to get the rust out. Coming out them ACLs and them year-long injuries. You know, guys be rusting. Their timing is off, but he's starting to get his groove back. Last 2 games, man, and he's starting to break more tackles. That's his game, breaking them tackles. And he's starting. They was a tough run defense. I give him everything. He fought for every yard that last game.
Yeah,
Kansas City game. He the same with Kansas City. So. He's starting to peak at the right time. If we can just get one of them other 2 backs to kind of pick up the slack when he comes off. I know McLaughlin good in space, and he's not too good at running between the tackles, but you know, using them how they're using them with the pitches and the screens. And P. Ryan, P. Ryan got to pick it up.
Yeah, and P. Ryan had a great fourth quarter in the last game.
Yeah, he got that big first down.
And he made a couple blocks. I was going through the film today. And
he made a great block coming across the
on that blitz.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a couple times where, you know, he did get turned around a little bit, but all in all, he's been pretty solid coming off the bench. McLaughlin had a tough game. That was a tough game for Jaleel. I felt like that's a physical front. They're big. And Jaleel, I mean, he can make a lot work with a little bit of space, but they were giving him no space whatsoever.
Right.
So Tatum, I wanted to ask you, you know, when we think about the Broncos and the history and the legacy of this team and this organization, you know, we think about the Elway Super Bowls. And then I feel like now for the fans that are especially in my generation, we kind of separate it as the Elway era and then the Manning era, right? Because those were like really the 2 times where it was like the hottest. And I feel like a lot of people just forget about the 2004, 2005, 2006 teams where, you know, Shanahan's kind of getting into the twilight of his coaching career here. And, you know, but you still have a really talented roster. You still got a really good defense. And Jake Plummer was playing out of his mind in 2005. If you could, for me, describe that 2005 season in one word and do you think that is the best Broncos team in the post-Elway pre-Manning era?
Ooh, pre-Manning era. That was one of the better teams. We man, that was a tough year. We lost to Pittsburgh in the AFC Championship game,
which
that was the best defense I ever seen in my life. Because we had the best defense coming into that game, but them guys, Joey Porter and Larry Foote and Ferry, them some young Potamalo, them boys they were some beasts. But that season, man, it was a good season.
That's crazy that he brought those names up. And I had to play those same guys my rookie year. But that's crazy. That's crazy. Man, so he had to see them when they were young, like right in the
So listen, so I'll never forget this play. We had a screen play, and we was down in the game. It was like some mop-up duty. And they threw a screen to me, and I probably could have scored, but I was just out of it. Man, when I tell you, I caught the screen, 2 linemen in front of me. Here come Potamalo. I'm like, okay, for the block him. I'm for to take this to the crib. Man, when I tell you, he jumped over the lineman, like how they be doing on the 4th down, jump over to get the quarterback. That's how he jumped over the lineman. He landed right on me, and I can just hear Shanahan just cussing me out, walking to the sideline. As soon as I get to the sideline, he like, you scrub. He didn't say scrub, but I just hear him in my ear, just like,
just chirping,
bro. You won't play for me again?
Hey man, that's Hall of Famer right there making that time.
Man, it was rough. It was rough, but that one play stood out to me, and I was like, if I can live it all over again, I'll just truck Potamalo. Man. But no, that season was a good season. We went 13-3, I think.
13-3.
Yeah. Mike had 1,000 yards. I had 900 that year.
You were so close.
Yard receivers. Yeah, and the offense was solid, man. But
and
and we couldn't do nothing, man.
Jake was one of those quarterbacks that, we looked at him as, he's playing terribly in Arizona, and then he comes over to Denver, and it's like a complete resurgence, right? And that year was the year. And I mean, you guys beat Brady at home, and in a crazy game. I'll never forget the Champ Bailey interception. That still to this day haunts me.
But we wanted to play Pittsburgh because the year before, my rookie year, we had lost to the Colts. The first round, they blew us out, man. Reggie Wayne, it was the Reggie Wayne show. He torched my boy Rock. It was Rock Alexander. We got drafted together. That was my buddy. But man, he had a rough game that day. And man, when I tell you, so next year we like, okay, the Pittsburgh beat them. Okay, we got a home game. Let's do this. We can do this, man. I never forget walking out there the pregame. All the Steelers were out there already. They was out there. You would have thought it was a home game. I'm like, why they got too much? They got too much swag and confidence. Yeah. And that instantly in my head, like, oh man, I kind of started getting, a little bit more nervous than I should have been.
Yeah.
And man, from the first play, they popped us in the mouth.
Yeah. I definitely think if you guys got to that Super Bowl, you're beating Seattle in that Super Bowl.
Oh, no doubt.
There's no doubt.
Sean Alexander and I forget the coach.
They didn't have a squad. They just had Alexander. Really,
That's it.
Really.
Yeah. And the NFC wasn't that tough at the time. So
no. And Hasselbeck was like Hasselbeck was just
that's his name. I couldn't think of.
They didn't have a true. They didn't really have a true wide receiver. The defense was meh. Like they had some dudes on the Lofa. You would have had to deal with Lofa the whole game, which whatever. But I definitely think that you guys would have
no doubt
beat them in the Super Bowl. Chris, you got a question?
It's always those close games, man, that you never forget, man. You can just always bring those back to memory. But my favorite thing, like I was saying earlier, man, growing up, man, in Oklahoma, in Tulsa, Tatum was a star to us, being a star running back at Oklahoma State. Those are our NFL teams, So how was it, man, at Oklahoma State, man? How is it now? They should show you so much love, man. So how is it now, man?
Well, when I started there, Les Miles was my coach and Gundy was my offensive coordinator. So, and then when I left, of course, Miles went to LSU and Gundy, took over, and he's been riding. He's one of the top 5 coaches in my opinion. He's always,
that's fair.
He's always in the mix. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily for Big 12 championships or NC the main championship, but we always have a solid team. He puts players in the league. But the atmosphere is crazy. I took my son there for the last Bedlam game, and it was crazy.
Okay.
It was a recruiting game for him, so it was a double whammy for him because they kind of interested in him. And he's a sophomore, and then there was a Bedlam game, so we kind of got a little love. It was on the field and stuff. It was a good time. I didn't go storm the field; he did, but
they might as well send that offer, man. They need to go ahead and send that offer, man.
Man, hey, as long as you get some offers, that's all we care. I don't care where you go. I just as long as I don't have to pay for school.
Oklahoma State, man, cover that, man. Come on, Boom Pickens.
For real. You got a legacy recruit right here. You got a legacy recruit. Bring him in. Tate, I did want to ask. We had TD on one of our shows very early on, and he spoke about Mike Shanahan's coaching style and what made him different from other coaches in the league. What was something that stood out to you about Mike Shanahan's coaching style?
Man, Mike was very hands-on. He watched everything, but anytime you messed up or made a play or messed up any mistake, he knew it. Especially on the offense, like if all the running backs, every time anybody that had the ball had to finish 40 yards. If you stop 38 yards, he gonna come back. When you come back, he gonna cuss you out, or say something to you. If you that guy, he might be like, hey, finish next time, But if a guy, Lord, low in the rankings, you're gonna get an earful. But Mike was a no nonsense. He showed love to all the veterans, like doing training camp day. Those the old training camp days when we had 2 days.
2 days, yeah.
So he used to give a lot of the OGs rest days. I played with Lynch and Al. Yeah, them guys hardly ever practice doing training camp. But
really,
man, for real, Lynch hardly ever practiced. But he was a baller, come game day. We had a veteran team, so but what I liked about Mike was he wasn't scared to play. Whoever was playing the better at the time. Yeah. Throughout my time, if he was the first round or 6th round, he gonna play whoever's producing, and that's what I liked about him. And that trickulated throughout the whole team. Like, hey. Because I'm first round, some of them guys get, like, I got a little leeway. Maybe their first year, but now after that, Mike had to show at least for that kind of stuff. So, and that was the whole atmosphere, and a lot of people was walking on eggshells. But all you had to do is just do your job, just produce. That was it, just produce.
And I think that's something that we're also seeing with Sean Payton in Denver right now is that kind of old school mentality of I don't care who you are. I don't care where you came from. I don't care about your draft slot. I don't care about any of that. If you can play, you can play. And I mean, we see that with Jaleel, him getting the amount of reps that he's getting and then producing off of it. But then also with like Frank Clark and Randy Gregory this season, you bring in Frank Clark, he's your veteran pass rusher. And then you have Randy, who has been around the league for some years. He was in Denver last year. And both of them are gone. Why? Because the younger guys are playing better. So, I did have a question about Lynch. I was going to ask, did John Lynch hit as hard in practice as he did in games? But if he didn't practice,
man, I got a couple stories about Lynch. So my first story, my rookie year, man, it's the worst practice I ever had in my life. So throughout training camp, I tell the story all the time. Throughout training camp, Shanahan, Mike, we used to call him Mike. Mike used to make all the running backs doing 9-on-7. He used to make every running back go 5 plays in a row. That's tough. And then you got to get up and finish like 5 yards, 15 yards, come right back. Yeah. So I never forget Mike knock his 5 out. Mike and Ruben and Mike and Quentin, they going with the first line. Keep in mind, we in training camp, so I'm going with the 2s and 3s, and it was rough. So I'm always going against the first defense. Man, so they get they 5 out the way. Boom. I think Quentin Griffin got his 5 out the way. Then here come me. I'm going against the first defense. Man, the very first play, we don't even run counter. We ran a counter play. Soon as I get out my counter step and get ready to come back through the A gap, Al Wilson already coming. I don't know if I fumbled. I don't know if I slipped. I don't even remember. All I remember being on my back and he just flying over my head just like this. And all I hear people in the back, bow, 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 get the ball. So I'm on the ground, like trying to find the ball. So I got to get the ball. I got to go finish, come right back. The very next play, inside zone, boom, make the right cut, hit it, cut it back, beautiful. Here comes John Lynch, boom, air hold me out of nowhere. I didn't even see him out of nowhere. I cut it back, so boom, just like that. The ball go flying again. So I got to go get the ball. Ooh, this first 2 carries, dog. Ooh, Lord, I'm just shook, and the fans going crazy. Shanahan, they just I'm getting cussed out. So I come back, I finish my next 3 plays. So we go to 7-on-7 right after 9-on-7, and I hear and I'm running down. I hear Shanahan tell Plummer, throw it to Tatum the first play. I don't even go with Plummer and them yet. I'm still going with the 2s and 3s. So I hear him say it. He say, throw it to Tatum the first play. So he do his check down. He throw the swing to me. Man, I bobble the swing. Champ just come take it right out of my hand.
No.
This was the whole sequence in a row. Oh man. So I didn't get no more reps the rest of that day in practice. When I tell you, Kubiak was our OC at the time.
Yeah.
Man, I was getting earful from everybody.
Kubiak will get you, man. People don't know. Kubiak will call you out, man.
Kubiak don't play no mess now, especially with his offense. He goes off. Kubiak real good.
Kubiak control the show, with the offense.
Man, he was distracted when we lost the game to the Steelers. I think he was either the head coach or just got the job with the Texans. I don't remember, something like that. That's why we lost.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's when he left.
So, So it was, but man, that was rough. But Lynch, and then so we played the Natron Memes. Y'all remember Natron Memes? He was a running back for the Chargers.
Yes.
He was a big old back. And Al, he caught, I want to say he did a check down. No, it was a toss play. I'm on the sideline. Al hit him and stood him up, and here come Lynch like a missile, and just boom. Man, I ain't never seen nobody get knocked out. This is the first time I've seen him in a football game. He knocked him out. He was just laying out like I thought he was dead. It was crazy. That's when I knew. Welcome to the NFL. Well, I already had my experience with training camp, but now seeing it live in the game, oh man, it was. I feel sorry for him. I don't think he played the rest of the year or whatever. It was, man, that was rough.
See, Lynch wouldn't make it today. He wouldn't make it today, man.
No, he's getting fined.
Like K-Jack still on the cusp of the old school, new school. He still got that in him, but man, that's hard. They've been cheating him, man. That's man. They've been doing him, man. Now the Thomas hit, but it's nothing you could do with the Musgrave hit.
No, it's
hard.
They just had it out for him. They were predetermined to suspend him.
Tatum, that does bring up a good question for me. But before we get into that, quick story. My first Broncos game, Christmas Eve, 2005. You guys are playing the Bengals, and that was one of the first games that Jay Cutler had taken over from Jake Plummer, and I saw John Lynch hit Chris Henry on the sideline. Like, I had a perfect view of it from my seat, and I saw Chris Henry jump up and catch the ball. And then I see John Lynch come in. It was like a blur and just smacked him. And I could hear it from down the field. And that's when I was like, oh, this is football. Like this is real football.
Oh yeah. And he was.
Yeah. But Tatum, what do you think? I want to get your thoughts as you're running back. I know we're getting close on time here, but I want to get your thoughts. What are your thoughts on the NFL finding running backs for, all the small stuff that they're finding these guys for, lowering the helmet?
How you gonna find a running back for blowing this pass, protecting himself, leading with his hand? Man. That's just natural. Anytime you get ready for contact, you brace. I don't understand that. I've been seeing a couple of those fines. It's BS to me.
They got Josh Jacobs, I seen, and he didn't even lower his head. Just
tricking somebody with a shoulder or something. Like, it's getting ridiculous.
It's hard now. They're going to make the game very hard to play, right? Because we're going full speed, and this is a man's game. This isn't if you want to play the kiddie ball, keep that in college, high school, this is the NFL, right? We all know what we signed up for. And we all understand that this is a physical game. And just taking that aspect out of it, the physicality of it. And now you can be a finesse player and have success in the NFL. Yeah. Right? When you weren't, if you're a guy that doesn't like contact or doesn't really deal with contact like that, you can be a finesse guy and have a solid career in the NFL now. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
Yep. Chris, last question for Tatum. You got one?
Yeah, man. What do you think was the difference coming in your career from college to NFL for the young guys? Because we seen how you had such a great career in college, but the NFL was kind of, you started out high, but you had a little rocky patches, man. So could you break some of that down, man? Some of your story, what kind of happened from college to the NFL?
Yeah, college I came on late probably. Well, I started, 3 years, but my junior was the year when it finally clicked in my head. I can do this. My junior, senior, I had great years. And then my rookie year, drafted Broncos, zone scheme. It was beautiful. Couldn't get no better than that. But I kept trying to be somebody I wasn't. I kept trying to be Portis and Mike Anderson and Ruben. And when it finally got I gotta get back to this being me, playing my game. That's when it finally slowed down for me. I want to say it was like maybe week 10 against the Dolphins in my rookie year when the light finally clicked. And I think I had like 100 something on them in the second half. I balled out on them, but that's when the light finally clicked. Like, okay, I just got to do this. This is what I've been doing. I just got away from it because I was watching them guys in practice trying to do this and cut like them and move like them. That wasn't my game. So, but the speed of it is definitely the number one issue that hurts players. Because what I tell people, like your college bowl game, like the national championship bowl game, that's what the intensity practice of a NFL practice is like.
Yeah, like a regular week.
You got to be able to practice without pads, full speed. And that's what's crazy. These big old boys be moving and locking, and you still got to get in there. And I mean, of course, no pass, but man, it's just crazy, man. Because you see D linemen. I played with 1 year in Detroit, man, with Sean Rogers and Corey Redden. And Sean Rogers was a big beast. Man, he this big and moving like this. It was just NFL is like that. All the offensive linemen. I tell my wife, I say, man, you walk down the street with a defensive lineman or offensive lineman, NFL, they one of the toughest bad mofos on the planet. I say, if for real, if they are starting O-line, D lineman, they ain't gonna take no mess from nobody. Yeah, because they used to being physical, they used to contact, they ready to put their hands on somebody. So exactly. But the speed is definitely was the biggest adjustment for me. It was hard for me at first, and then when I finally got into it, when I came in, I think we had 8,000 yard backs in a row, leading up to me. So Portis had just had 1,500, 1,700, and then they traded for me. And then Mike, Mike was the starter that year. No, Mike got hurt my rookie year, so Reuben Jones was the starter. So it was just tough. Then he had 1,300. So it was just like, man, I got big shoes to fill. It was just a lot of pressure that I put on myself that I really didn't need to. Just go
for all the listeners and things, you heard what he said. He said one thing. He said he started to realize he just need to be himself. And I think that's a key in the NFL, right? Guys, a lot of guys I want to run my route like Justin Jefferson or like Tyreek Hill. You can't run your route like him, right? You can't all be. I knew when I came in the league, I can't do everything that Champ Bailey's doing or what Brian Dawkins is doing or Andre Goodman, these guys, right? I need to be Chris Jr., who I am and how I play, right? And take ownership of who and what I can do on the field. Man, that's key, man, coming in the NFL, man. Not trying to take on other people's game and their identity. Take on your own game. Be yourself, right? And that's key, man, and what Tatum said.
That's what I'm harping on my son. My daughter's a senior. She's running track, trying to get her in college. And now my son, sophomore, he had a good year, man. 700 yards, 9 touchdowns, playing, 5A Texas football. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm trying to tell
him, man, you can't be, because I went to DeSoto High School. So a lot of my sons, So I was the big dog before Vaughn. You know what I mean?
Of course, you put DeSoto on. Yeah, you was the first one.
And so I tell my son, like, hey man, them guys at DeSoto, like last year they had one of the top receivers in the state named Cook. He went to Texas. So Deuce he wanted to dye his hair like him. He want to wear a sleeve like him. He wants to do everything like him. Like, son, be your own person. Be your own man. Because when you want to, like you said, you want to run routes like Justin Jefferson. That's how you get hurt. You start stepping and doing stuff you don't even run your routes like that. That's how you get hurt. It's just dumb stuff. Right. So be you. Let the game come to you.
Amen. We could really have an hour-long show just talking about life.
I got 5 more minutes. I got 5 more minutes.
Hey. Let's stay on.
My little bubble about to run down these steps any minute now. I don't know how much longer we can keep him contained.
Well, thank you for giving us your time, Tatum.
No, appreciate y'all having me. Like I said, I see you on Twitter all the time, and
we'll get you back on.
You're welcome back, bro. We got to bring you back, man.
You're welcome back. Absolutely. Let's check in next week after we beat the Vikings because this is a good week.
Hey, there we go.
Now I got love for Dobbs, but Dobbs, we gonna see you this week, Dobbs. We're gonna see
right
you
now. And
yes,
Brian
guest appearance Tatum Bell, man. We'll take that guest appearance with Tatum Bell.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That is gonna do it for this interview. Tatum, thank you so much. We can't wait to have you.
Man, appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
Yeah.